Following this weekend's general elections, Spain faces a level of political instability that it hasn't had from the history of democracy in Spain. We've got the election results for you. This is from, I believe, yesterday. You're going to see the number of seats won. Now, let's stay on this for a little bit because I also want to add the change in the seats from the last election, which, by the way, was 4.5 years ago, which is the longest time span between elections since Spain transitioned to democracy. So you're seeing there the formerly largest party, still the largest party, that is the Popular Party, which is a conservative party, winning 123 seats or 29% of the vote. Now that is a drop of 64 seats since the last election. We're looking at them losing about 1/3 of their seats there. The Socialists, which are, not surprisingly, a social democratic party, a federalist party, winning 90 seats with 22% of the vote, down 20 seats, again, a significant chunk from just 4.5 years ago. The Podemos party, that is a socialist party there with 69 seats and 21% of the vote. You see there the huge shift in number of seats by percentage of the vote between the socialists and them. They're up 68 seats since last time, so significant jump for them. Way to go. And the Ciudadanos party, I do not speak Spanish, that should be abundantly clear, 40 seats with 14% of the vote. And this is the first election that they have taken part in. You're seeing here that the two leading parties, the Popular Party and the Socialist Party, losing a significant number of seats from 4 years ago, and formerly very small parties or regional parties, which had never competed on the national stage for parliament, sucking up those seats and getting them themselves. And what's interesting there is the PP and the Socialists won a combined vote share of about 50%, compared with 70 to 80% of past general elections. And so you had what is, for a parliamentary system, basically a two-party system up until this election. Not to the same extent that America is a two-party system, but obviously it's a totally different way of organizing your government. But there, now it's about 50%. And since they've already made clear, the Socialist Party is, that they will not be combining forces with PP to form a ruling majority, we now have political instability, and what some are calling, including the leader of Podemos, Spain is not going to be the same anymore, and we are very happy the bipartisan political system is over. Saying it's dead.
So this is hugely important for Spain, really a sea change in their politics and their elections. Very, very important for Europe because Podemos is anti-austerity, and if socialists and Podemos could somehow put together a government, well, then they would also be head in an anti-austerity direction, and so hence be closer to Greece's position, and we'll have to see how Germany and some of the other Northern European countries react to that. But it's also important, I think, on a macro sense for the whole world, because here is yet another country that is saying, yeah, we're tired of the establishment.
Yes.
So, I mean, in Spain, it doesn't get any more establishment than those two leading parties that have been in power for as long as they have had democracy. And this, for the first time ever, for that rule to be changed, that reign to be changed, and to have real challengers coming in and upsetting that system, it is collectively the world beginning to overturn that apple cart of the establishment. So,
it's unraveling.
Yeah. So obviously we've got Bernie Sanders doing well here, but also on the right-wing side, who is not establishment, Donald Trump. He's a billionaire, but the establishment doesn't really know what to do with him. So you've got two big anti-establishment forces in America that are doing very well in politics. And, you know, you've got Corbyn in the UK, and you've got obviously Syriza in Greece. And then on the right-wing side, in a lot of Eastern European countries.
Well, but yeah.
So you have some left-wing, you have some right-wing challenges to the establishment. But either way, people are saying, you know what, we've been doing things the same way for a long time, and we're beginning to realize that system was not really rigged in our favor. Yeah. That system was rigged in the favor of the people that are in the establishment, that already have money, that already have power. So obviously, I'm more left of center, but in Europe, I'd probably be far more centrist than I'm considered here in the U.S.
Yeah.
But I'm happy
Well, they laugh at the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
But we have that in common with them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, we're way to the left of the Democratic Party here in America, but we'd still be probably to the right of leftist parties in Europe.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, especially with my haircut.
So if the establishment is being overturned, I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Now, look, again, some right-wing parties can rise out of that could be awfully dangerous. So not all change is great, but the system does need to be changed.
Yeah.
And if Spain is heading in that direction, and the main benefactor of that is more of a left-wing party that is anti-austerity, well, then even better.
Yeah. And that's really, I think, the scary thing. So I was blindsided by the Spanish election results. It hadn't been on my Google Calendar. I'm sorry, Spain. I wasn't tracking it. But we see that there's going to be this great instability, and so we start analyzing it. And our natural inclination, I believe I'm speaking for both of us, is are they going more left or are they going more right? And the fear is typically, historically in Europe, when you combine economic troubles, and bear in mind that Spain still has an unemployment rate of about 21%, which is down from its high of about 27%, but still high, and you have tons of cause for concern for xenophobia with the whole refugee crisis, some countries dealing with that better than others. You combine that xenophobia and economic troubles, and historically that has not ended up well, it's not ended up in a good situation for Europe. And so we were worried about the rise of sort of nationalistic parties, which is happening in some countries. But what you see here is both the established leftist party and the more right party both losing support, and it going to these new parties which have not been in power before on both the left and, depending, the C's party. Some people call it center-left, some people call it center-right. And again, that's from their point of view. For us, they're all crazy wide-eyed liberals, I'm sure. But it's not really a movement in one direction or the other, at least from these results. It's really simply away from the center, away from the established system. Lindsey Graham is going to be scared as hell. The results of this, that the system is unraveling, and going to these new parties with, by the way, regional concerns that we don't have to worry about here. I mean, the issue of Catalan independence and the concerns of the Basque region are going to be really important. And here you have those positions really differentiating between left and right again based on these parties. So a different situation, but similar to in America with Bernie Sanders and with Donald Trump, people are going more and more against the established ruling authorities and looking for some sort of alternative.
So let me end on some goofiness. The leader of Podemos, Pablo Iglesias, has a ponytail. And the reason I bring that up is because to highlight the difference between Europe and the U.S. The U.S. is so conservative. The idea that anybody with a ponytail would get anywhere near 1% of the vote seems stunning, let alone for them to finish third with 21% of the vote. I mean, he looks like my hippie cousin.
Yeah.
Hey, and he's fairly young. In America, you'd be like, oh, a guy with a ponytail, go get a job. Well, he's trying to get a job. It's called, Prime Minister.
That's totally true. We still have not broken the ponytail ceiling, but in our country, if you have a weird mat of disgusting orange back hair that you move over your head, you can still get first in the Republican Party.
That's true. You just have to have different kind of weird hair. And then finally, I probably don't agree with the right-wing leading party in Spain, but I do admire their marketing. They call themselves the Popular Party, and hence became one.
Yeah.
See, that's nice and simple. Politics isn't that complicated.
I called myself the popular kid in high school. It didn't stick.
Slightly different.
Didn't stick.